Hi, team. So I'm going through some of my notes from Summit, and I just want to make little short videos to help you in your businesses. Some of you were at Summit, and some of this is going to be a nice refresher, and some of you weren't. And so even though you will have access to these in your coach office, it's always nice to hear little tidbits and stuff that you can take away right away. So I hope that some of this is going to help you, and especially a lot of you newer coaches. I have really been trying to stress in our new coach training that you need to have a reason why. Why are you coaching? Now, obviously, some of you have stressed that you don't want this to be a full-time job, and most people do not go into coaching to make it their full-time income. It just ends up happening that way for a lot of people. But that doesn't mean that you can't be successful in this business, doesn't mean that you can't put the time and energy and effort into this business to still make it a very thriving business and still stay at your day job. That's not what that means at all. So even though that's not your goal to leave your job, you still need to have a reason. Why are you working it? Some of you new coaches, you really can't dream big. You're not really expanding your mind. And so maybe right now your only reason why is you want to be able to afford your own Shakeology every month. And maybe you want a little extra spending cash. Some of you have kids, and so you're like, oh my God, my kids' activities, it's so expensive. This sports club and that dance thing and this competition and that and that and that, and it adds up. So you want extra money that is going to literally pay your kids' stuff, and it's not going to come out of your normal day job paycheck. So that's cool too. Maybe some of you, you want to be able to take your kids on a family vacation, and that's just not really feasible right now with, everything else that you have to pay for between your normal income right now. And then some of you are really going for it. You really want you want this to be a full-time thing. You aren't happy in your job, or you would like to have more freedom and not be working for somebody else. And so your why is so that you can stay home and be more present in your kids' lives, because you're going to work from 9 to 5. And so the kids are at, someone else has to take them after school, or they're at the Boys and Girls Club, or you have to miss out. You don't have a lot of extra time to volunteer in their classes, etc., etc. So everybody has a different reason that's motivating them to work their business. Mine was I had left the public school and I was working at a center for special ed, and I wanted out. I wasn't happy. I didn't feel like it was my purpose anymore. I didn't really like my work environment and my management system. And I didn't look forward to going to work every day. I wanted to change. I wasn't happy, and I was making way worse money than I was as a regular teacher, and they don't make a lot of money. And this is what I felt called to do. And so when I knew that I was leaving that job, I busted my butt harder than ever, because I knew that daily, or that every 2-week normal set of money from that paycheck wasn't going to be coming in anymore, and I needed to figure something out. So that's my reason. My reason is, I have lots of reasons. We are planning at some point, God help us, to get married eventually, right? About time. So when that happens, we're going to have a wedding, and we're going to have a family. And I see all these other successful coaches that are able to retire their husbands, and they get to spend all this time and build this business together, and they're so present in their family's lives, and they have the freedom to go on a whim and go on vacation because they can work from anywhere, or to work 2 hours a day and that's it. And they have that flexibility, and they have such a quality of life. So I have so many goals like that for me in my future. So that is my why. But what is my initial why is just to make some really steady income that's going to definitely surpass what I had with my regular job, and that's going to really ease up on the finances that the finances that maybe right now that my boyfriend has to take care of. So that would make his job even better, and maybe he could go down to part-time and go from there. So that's what drives me. Clearly I want to do this full-time, and actually I left my job and I am doing it full-time. So that is my why, and that is the reason why I get up and I get going with it every day. So a reason why I say you need to have a why is because fear is huge, right? if you're like me, I'm fear of failure. I am such a people pleaser that I'm like, I used to fear people not liking me. And it took a really long time with like personal development stuff to like get over it. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's cool. And not everyone is going to understand what I do and why I do it. And I'm not trying to win everybody over. It's not possible. I'm not going to win everybody over. So I've kind of gotten over that fear. Fear of stepping outside of the box, right? And I know as new coaches, you're so like, I don't even know what to post. What are people going to say? I'm not salesy. I'm not salesy either. I was a teacher, for Christ's sake. It's so not about selling in Beachbody. It's all about sharing and building relationships. And how did you become a coach? How did your coach get you on the team? It wasn't about selling you something. It was a way to share with you the opportunity and share with you the products and the programs and what can change the direction that your health was headed into. And so for whatever reason you decided to come on and pay it forward and be a coach too. So fear is a big thing that's going to be your main stumbling block in holding you back from doing anything in your business. If it just paralyzes you from even just, following a simple 10-step to-do list every single day, like step 1, let me do this and make sure I've added new contacts every single day. Have I made any, messages back and forth with anybody? Have I connected with anybody? Just talking to people. It's not that you're just trying to sell. This is all about building relationships first before you invite people into your challenge group or your coaching opportunity. So if you are not focused on your why, your fear is going to become greater than your why. And when that happens, nothing happens in your business. And that's where a lot of coaches I see die off, and they say, this is too hard for me. This isn't for me. I'm not a salesperson. And it's not that you're not a salesperson. Most of us aren't salespeople. It's that you didn't focus on what your why is, and you let that fear take over you and have a greater hold on what the absolute possibilities are in this business. If you stepped out of that comfort zone, kept your eye, that's why I tell my coaches to put your why, like wherever you're doing most of your workspace, put your why front and visible. If you have to make a picture and put it as, your screensaver on your phone, so every time you see it, it is right there reminding you. When you don't want to get on the computer, when you don't want to follow up with that person, when you've got 1 point away from Success Club and you just don't want to work on it, and you see that should drive you. You're so close. So one of the big things was about your fear being greater than your why. So I really want you to sit down and I want you to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Everybody's kind of afraid of different things. So the first one is, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of actually succeeding in this business? Are you afraid of actually proving all the people in your life that really think this is some scam or you can't make money as a Beachbody coach? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of succeeding? What are you afraid of? What exactly in the business part of this is holding you back? Is it stepping outside your comfort zone? Is it posting every day on social media? Is it reaching out to people? I heard another coach one time, and she really went on about how she found it so selfish to not share. Because here's the thing. Somebody had to have mentioned this, something about helping your health at some point to you, right? And a lot of coaches started off not as coaches, but as challengers. Why? Because they were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they needed to make a change. So somebody presented, here, you're telling me that you are fatigued all the time, you're exhausted, you're tired of not fitting into clothes, you're tired of being self-conscious in your own body, and you want to change. So they recommended a program, they recommended Shakeology, and they held you accountable in a challenge group. And lo and behold, you dropped the weight, you increased your energy, your happiness grew, and somehow along the way you gained some confidence. And you were like, man, I feel fabulous. And then you're like, sure, I'll be a coach. Not only do I get a discount, but I want to make other people feel as good as I feel right now. So you became a coach. And then the fear of actually reaching out to those people to help them the way your coach helped you is holding you back. So if you have to think of it in that mindset of like, do I want to be selfish today? Do I want to keep this all to myself? Or I see that person's post online. I see that they're struggling. Their post is, I'm so sick and tired and I can't fit into any of my clothes. Or I have no energy to play with my kids. Or just in a regular conversation with a friend. Why not? Why wouldn't you share that with them? If you found an awesome recipe or you checked out the latest new restaurant, of course you'd be all over social media and be like, just had dinner at, such and such. Awesome. You have no problem sharing that. It's the same thing. So share. So what are you afraid of, and what specifically in the business is holding you back? And then if you are a coach and you're leading a team, it is your job to step into that leadership role. Is that what's holding you back? Are you afraid to gain coaches because you're afraid you don't know how to lead them? So you need to step out of that. It's going to be a little uncomfortable in the beginning. Now you have people that you're responsible for. Now you have people who are looking up to you, right? They're like, okay, you said to come, I came, now what? So if you are a leader, you need to have weekly team calls. You need to be hosting team 3-day sneak peeks, or if you're even bolder, to go and host a webinar or a conference call for your coaches, potential coaches, to get on board and for you to talk about and share about what the coaching opportunity is. I know I like to host the 3-day sneak peeks for my team all the time because I feel like it's less intimidating. You don't have to do a webinar. You don't have to do a phone call. And it's 3 days. And again, you're just sharing with these people what is possible and what this coach opportunity is. And honestly, all of us end up getting coaches out of it. So you kind of take a little bit of the pressure off your own coaches. And again, you don't have to, be on a full webinar where everyone's staring at you as you share about it. So is that what's holding you back as a leader for your team? Are you doing anything to help your teammates that you've taken on? So this is really why it's so important to know your why. Because if you don't really have your why, then anything that's going to come into play, life is crazy, life is busy, it's always throwing us a curveball. All of those things that come up every single day are going to be what's holding you back and holding you back. And the number one thing that holds you back is your fear. So fear is no excuse. Fear is absolutely no excuse. Think about the most craziest thing you've ever done. If you've gone skydiving, if you are crazy, I can skydive, but I will not get on a roller coaster. I am petrified. Isn't that insane? I've skydived. So if you're a roller coaster person, or I don't know, you just do some crazy stuff. You jump off bridges into water, like deep down and dive. Something crazy that you have done. If you can do that, then you can do this as a coach. You can share how to lose some weight, how to feel good about yourself, how to help provide for your family income-wise. If you can do that, you can do this. So fear is no excuse. So 3 steps. 1, are you doing the 3 vital behaviors? First of all, are you working on yourself every single day? Are you doing personal development? I know this is technically vital behavior number 3, but I really think it's like the most specific and most important vital behavior. You have to work on yourself. So if you lack courage and confidence, that's what you need to be reading about. Maybe those are podcasts that you need to learn about and listen to. Maybe there's a webinar or a YouTube video or a training on that. Those of you who follow Shailene Johnson, she has a confidence club one that you could join. So maybe that's the direction that you need to go to work on yourself, on how to be more confident and more secure in who you are and what you're all about, so that then you can go help more people if that's what's holding you back. If you are leading a team and you are really struggling, then you need to pick up some John C. Maxwell, because he is all about leadership, right? And that's where you need to spend your time. Also, if you want to feel better about yourself and you just want to feel empowered, if you have not read You Are a Badass, read it. I honestly skim through it all the time. After I've read it once, like I've highlighted so much of it that I like to skim through it. So that's the number 1 behavior you need to be working on, is yourself. And I think some coaches think that personal development just means watching a team training video. listening to the, the national wake up calls, anything specific to just Beachbody. But really, personal development is so much about personal growth way outside Beachbody. And the more that you grow in general, the better you get as a coach. So it doesn't have to be, your personal development should not just be 100% how to do Beachbody. Okay, number 2, are you being a product of the product? Are you doing your workout every day? Are you drinking Shakeology? Are you maybe using the new performance line? Are you maybe trying out the new Shakeology boost? Maybe, you lack the energy, and so focus is really going to help you. And you try it and you love it and you have this clear, focused vision to get through your hectic day. Share about that online. Let people know about it. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is connecting with people. I know it says invite, invite, invite. But especially as a brand new coach, maybe you're not ready to host your first challenge group yet. So it's not necessarily inviting them to join you, but it's also about connecting, reaching out, adding new people to your network every day, but then building those relationships. It doesn't matter if you all of a sudden add 300 friends and you don't know a single thing about any one of them. Number doesn't matter that way. What matters is the connection. So you send out a friend request and somebody accepted it. Did you respond? I always immediately message them out. Once they accept, I go to their page, I like and comment on some of their things, I find some other thing of interest that we might share or something and have in common or a question I can ask them, and I message them and I say, thank you so much for the ad, blah, 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 blah. You just came back from vacation. I've always wanted to go there. What was your favorite thing? Or I'm a previous teacher, so I like to find teachers. So I like to start conversations about teaching because that's a hobby and interest of theirs. And it's something that I can clearly talk about. And I let a natural progression of conversation and relationship build that way. So it's not just inviting, but it is connecting. So number 1, the 3 vital behaviors. Number 2 is posting about it. Like I said, talking about it, you're sharing about it, and you're imprinting about it, right? Like whatever you're reading, share what you're learning in your personal development. Do a workout, share your workout. If you're not ready to take a fitness video of you working out, take a picture of you holding one of the poses, or you super sweaty after your workout, and then talk about how empowered you feel. Maybe you had a really hard time getting out of bed, you did not want to push play, but you know how good you feel after you finish pushing play. Share about that, because not everybody is so obsessed with working out. And doesn't mean that you have to be obsessed with working out to be a coach. And so most of the people that you're trying to reach, you're trying to reach them for a reason. So they're probably not obsessed with working out and they have a hard time pushing play and getting going. And if they can relate that you're the same way and how good it feels, it reminds them, it's like, yes, I have goals and I always do feel a lot better after I've got a workout in today. So I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to go push play. If you find a healthy recipe that you try or a meal, share that as well. Are you tracking? Number 3, track everything. Every time you add a new person, are you writing their name down in a chart? Maybe you're super techie and you're using a program like Asana or something online, or you like Excel. I hate Excel. If you're like that and you have a system that works for you, but some way or another, you need to be tracking everything. Who did you talk to? What did you talk to them about? Where did you find them? Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. Gosh, there's so many more now, but find out what platform did you talk to them on. Write down what their username was. If their username isn't a name, isn't their actual name, it's going to be an awful hard time to remember it and then to remember which platform and what you talked about. So write it down. Are they a current Beachbody customer? Do they already have a workout? What are their struggles? What is something that's interesting about them that you can follow up with later on? Do they have kids? What do they do for a job? All these kinds of things that are just going to help you and get to know them better. So track it, track it, track it. And then follow up. So if you use a planner and say you talk to somebody, what is today? Wednesday, right? I think it's Wednesday. I teach class. Yeah. So Wednesday, and they said they're going to think about it, or you have something that they're going to look at, and maybe your deadline is in 4 days. Then you talk to them Wednesday and you say, okay, I'm going to follow up with you Friday morning, and you let them know that. So then on your planner, you're going to turn to Friday morning, you're put that person's name down. So you know when you get to Friday and you look at your schedule and you say, oh, I have to follow up with Jackie. So you have a schedule of who to follow up with. So following up is key, absolute key, especially when you're pushing, especially towards the end of the month and you're trying to find that last Success Club points or those last 2 points to get you to Success Club. Going through your stuff, it's so much better if you have it already written out. Those follow-ups are already in play. All right. If somebody, also following up when you post stuff. So if somebody comments on your page, and especially on your like page, if you have one, if you don't engage back with them, people are going to stop commenting. So as soon as people comment on my stuff, I engage, and then I might let it die off for a little while, and maybe I'm going to come back in an hour or two or a little bit later, and then whoever else has commented, I'm going to reply back to them. So it's going to bump my stuff back up to the newsfeed, but I'm never not going to interact with people that commented on my page. Because if I commented on someone's page all the time and they never liked my comments, they never responded to my comments, why would I continue to comment on their page? There's no reciprocal engagement. So you want to engage with the people who are engaging on your posts. So that's a form of following up too. And like I said, put it on your calendar. Number 5 is to set goals, long and short-term goals. So especially newer coaches, maybe your short-term goal is just to pay for your Shakeology. Maybe your long-term goal is to pay off Sally Mae so you don't have to ever pay them again, right? So you have to have some long and short-term goals. So paying off Sally Mae, especially if you have a significant amount, that's not a short-term goal. That's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in 2 months. So that's a more long-term goal. Or, quitting your job, that might be more of a long-term goal, whereas the short-term goal is to make that extra income, maybe pay off your car bill next month, pay off your Shakeology, that kind of thing, short-term goal. So you need to be writing those down. And then you have to reevaluate those goals all the time, every month. So you made the ones if you already made your ones for July and we come to the end, by the end of July, look at those goals. Did you meet them? Are they still relevant? What maybe needs to be tweaked and changed? And what brand new goal needs to be now put into place to work towards as we go into August? So setting goals, long and short, and then reevaluating those goals. And number 6 is Success Club is a non-negotiable. Your business will not grow if you don't hit it every month. And those of you who follow me know that I had a really hard time my first year in this business. I had a really hard time getting traction. I was doing everything right. I was doing everything I was told to do. And my entire life, I've been a late bloomer, and I had a really rocky start. And it took a long time for me to build up. But then once I hit that momentum, it's been awesome. Not to say that you never struggle, but I hit that point that I had to push through all the times where I wasn't getting the responses that I wanted to be getting. And now I have people that just come to me out of nowhere. And it's because I planted all those seeds and all that. And I was so consistent, regardless of what was actually happening. I was super consistent. So now I have made it a point. And once I started to hit Success Club, I made that a non-negotiable. And so in the beginning, Success Club 5, make that a non-negotiable. This year is the first year that I've consecutively hit Success Club 10 every single month this year. And so now that's kind of like my non-negotiable that I'm making for myself because I know I can do it. So you need to have that as your non-negotiable. And the reason why Success Club is a non-negotiable and why it drives your business is a lot of those people are potential coaches for you. I have a lot of people that I turn over as discount coaches because they're staying on Shakeology. They love Shakeology. Why not save on Shakeology? They have no interest in working the business, and that's totally fine. But I'm going to help them save some money, and they're going to help me add an extra coach to my team. So I get discount coaches a lot from that. Also, even if they don't want to save money on their Shakeology, believe it or not, I have a lot of customers like that they're like, no, it sounds like a lot of work. They don't mind paying it every month. So what does that mean? Well, that's $30 for one order. And when you get multiple of that every month and you're adding in new people every month, that income starts to add up. So that residual income is really big. So that's another reason why your business starts to grow, because you're not only getting the residual income, but you're also potentially getting other new coaches from those customers. So, and you're branching out and you're helping more people. And that's how this whole business is. You're just helping people. Not about a number, it's helping people. So that is, I think, my main tips for right now about fear and knowing your why. So that is my challenge for all of you guys, to figure out what is your why, whether it's a huge why or you're starting off with a much smaller why, but you need to have that somewhere front and center that is going to push you every single day when you don't want to do any work, you had a really rough day at work, you didn't get to get online before you went to your job, and maybe you have your power hour after the kids go to bed at night, and that's the time that you're going to sacrifice some of those TV shows because those TV shows aren't going to help grow your business, and this is the time that you've dedicated to work your business, and you are just flat tired. You're tired. You've had a long day. Everything went wrong today. Those days are going to happen. But one day that you take off leads to 2 days, and then sooner or later you get out of the habit of all the things that you should be doing as a coach. All the things on your to-do list, your focused power hour, and suddenly you're like, I don't even want to work this anymore, or I'm not getting any traction in this business. And it's because you haven't been doing consistently what you should be doing. So you need to have a why that's going to be stronger than all those obstacles that are going to come up, and stronger than the fear that you have either going into this business or once you're into it and being successful at it. So whatever those fears are that hold you back. So I want you to figure out what your fear is, figure out what your why is, focus on those 6 steps, and do not let your fear be greater than your why, because the potentials of what your why can end up being and what can come true when you work so hard towards it. There are so many coaches in this company to watch and to see how that came true. Lindsay Matway is a huge one to watch. We know her story with her sick little girl and all the medical bills that they had, and that drove her every single day. And if you knew the crazy hours that that girl worked to get to where she was at Top Coach, you need to ask yourself, would you put in that amount of time? Is that worth it? So I'm ending this because it's getting really long, but so focus on what is your fear, what's holding you back, and what is your why. And I can't wait to hear some of them in the team page. Thanks, guys.